everybody, and welcome to Spaulding High School, where the Spaulding Red Raider baseball team will be taking on the Winnacunnet Warriors tonight at Burt George Field. I'm Kevin Conley, along with John Credo, and our cameraman is Nate Shar, as we bring you tonight's baseball game in Division I NHIAA action. The Spaulding Red Raiders come in at 9-5, and they face Winnacunnet coming in at 0-15, John. It's sort of a tale of two teams right now. Spaulding tied for fourth with Alvern and Bedford, and Winnacunnet down at the bottom of the pack. But as we've seen this week in particular, anyone can beat anybody.
No question about it. We've got three-game winning streak going for Spaulding, and we've got a breezy night here at Burt George Field. I think Kyle Douglas from Eversource told us 30-mile-an-hour wind, so it's going to factor into the game.
We do see the flag out in right center field on the scoreboard, blowing from right field towards left field, slightly in, so it will be a breezy night. It's a night game. Lights will be coming on a little bit later in the broadcast. And for the Spaulding Red Raiders, tonight they have Chris States on the mound, and they have received some pretty good pitching performances from Josh Gagne, from Andrew Barnes, and Chris States has had a couple of nice outings as well.
They sure have. All three seniors have had a very good season, and starting out, Chris was the third pitcher, but I think he's putting a little bit of work towards being the number 2 guy against Andrew. We'll see. They're working hard against each other for the team's benefit. There's no question Josh is a workhorse. We know that for a fact.
And pitching has been one of their strengths, but they've also had big games offensively as well. It's been a bit of an enigma. They've had games where they've had trouble scoring, but when they've put their offense together, they've scored some big runs.
Boy, they sure have. They showed that against Dover back on the 4th of May. That was a 13-0 game. That was a great example. They've also had other games where they've scored 19 runs. They've scored 15 runs. There are some games that are tight with a run deficit, and there are other games they win by a dozen. It's a strange season.
Coach Paul George, the head coach, 4th year as the head coach of the Spaulding Red Raiders. And for the Winnacunnet Warriors, Jared Liebenau in his 5th season as the head coach for Winnacunnet. As we said, they come in at 0-15, John. Early in the season, they had many games where they gave up double-digit runs. As a matter of fact, their first 7 games, they gave up double-digit runs. They've settled down a little more. They played Pinkerton to a tight 6-1 game. Aaron Garreau on the mound for the Winnacunnet Warriors. He's been their most consistent pitcher. A little bit young, 5 seniors. They have a freshman in the lineup, a couple sophomores, but they're starting to gel a little bit better. They could be a formidable task tonight.
We've seen a number of these players in the past. You and I have seen, of course, a lot of the games through the years when the kids have played, and there's no question Winnacunnet has a number of good ball players, and if they've put, that 6-1 game against Pinkerton to the task, that tells us they're a pretty good team.
So we'll come back with starting lineups and the first pitch after this break. Winnacunnet Warriors visiting Spaulding Red Raiders in Division I boys baseball action. Welcome back to Spaulding High School and Burt George Field for tonight's Division I baseball game between the Winnacunnet Warriors and the Spaulding Red Raiders. Let's go through the lineups first for the visiting Winnacunnet Warriors. Leading off will be the second baseman, Mike Nastasia. Batting second will be the pitcher, Aaron Garreau. Batting third is the third baseman, TJ Welch. Cleanup batter is the catcher, Derek Clough. The DH, Danny Fields, bats 5th. He'll be batting for Bobby Brown, the right fielder. Batting 6th is Jordan Keene, the shortstop. Batting 7th, John Ferrilli, the center fielder. Batting 8th, the first baseman, Griffin O'Brien. And batting 9th, Matt Galati, the left fielder. For the Spaulding Red Raiders, starting lineup and leading off will be the shortstop, Ricky Credo. Batting second is the center fielder, Justin Jewell. Batting third is the catcher, Anthony DiPrizio. The cleanup hitter is the second baseman, Drew Healy. Batting 5th is the third baseman, Josh Gagne. Batting 6th is the right fielder, Kyle Kerrigan. Batting 7th is the first baseman, Cody Knapp. Batting 8th and pitching is Chris States. And batting 9th, playing left field, is Chris Parker. So tonight, John, we'll see Chris States on the mound.
Yeah, Chris has had a very good year. As you know, a couple years ago he had a tough bout with health, and boy, he's come back strong in his senior year. I'm so proud of him, and he's really aided this staff. We needed that for Chris in his senior year. I'm very proud of him. He's had a good season so far.
He's really added to the pitching depth of Spaulding, as we talked about in the pregame. That has been one of their strengths, and he'll be starting off facing Mike Nastasia. He is a kid this team has faced throughout the years, way back in the Roger Allen days, a pesky player for the Winnacunnet Warriors. He's playing second base. He'll lead it off.
He sure is feisty. We've seen him, Kevin, for a number of years, not just at Roger Allen, right through that into Babe Ruth, and here we are now at high school ball, and he's still playing pretty strong.
Spaulding Red Raiders come in at 9-5, facing the 0-15 Winnacunnet Warriors. First pitch of the game, strike one from Chris States. Fouled off to the right by Nastasia. 0-2, States quickly ahead.
As we mentioned earlier, it's a windy night here at Burt George Field. It's much different than a normal night we've seen with that 30-mile-an-hour wind.
That can play havoc on the ball, especially in the outfield. As we said, it's blowing from right to left, slightly in. Ground ball to third. Gagne handles the tough hop. Across the nap for out number one.
Well, that's the way to start the game. Roll a ground ball, get a quick out.
I know Coach George loves pitching to contact.
Luckily, it's a sunny night with the wind.
Stepping in now is the pitcher, Aaron Garreau for Winnacunnet. Lines a base hit into right center field. One out single for Winnacunnet. They have their first base runner. That'll bring up TJ Welch, the third baseman. Cody Knapp will be holding on the runner at first.
Don't see many teams this year test Anthony DiPrizio's arm that frequently. We'll see how Winnacunnet plays it against our catcher.
Pitch is fouled back by Welch. State's pounding the zone early on, throwing a lot of strikes here.
Like I said, he's looking very strong this season. He's having a nice year. Big aid to the pitching staff.
Breaking ball, fly ball into left field, played on a hop by Parker. Back-to-back singles by the Warriors. They have runners at first and second with one out. Garreau moves up to second base. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Derek Clough. Clough is the catcher tonight. Ball one. States misses high. I know States won his first 4 games, I believe, when he started on the mound for the Red Raiders. He's had a lot of success on the mound. He gets a little pop-up. DiPrizio might have room. Back to the backstop and out of play.
We actually might have had a shot at that one, Kevin. That was right in front of us, about 2 or 3 feet.
A little closer to us than it was to DiPrizio.
Yeah, Chris has had a good season. He really is. He's having a good year.
Pitch misses up and in. Fouled off the mask of DiPrizio. The mask of one of them. I don't know if it got the home plate umpire Terry Dosty or if it got DiPrizio, but both of them will buy a little time, clean the plate, go out, talk to the pitcher.
A lot of seniors in our squad this year, Kevin. We've got a large group of them. They're doing a good job.
This has really been a terrific senior class for Spaulding High School in all sports. From
You aren't kidding.
football, basketball, baseball. That pitch misses just a little low.
A little low and out.
Nice 2-strike pitch there by States. Runners at first and second. A balk called on States. It didn't come to a set. Home plate umpire Dosty is going to go out and talk to him a little bit. That'll move the runners up a base. Garreau moves to third base. Welch to second. Runners at second and third with one out.
That breaks up the force out.
Coach George talking to plate umpire Terry Dosty, saying he bounced at the bottom there and got called for the box. States will now go from the windup with 1 out, runners at second and third. Misses down low for ball 4. That loads the bases. A 1-out walk.
We get the DH up now.
Danny Fields DHing for the right fielder Bobby Brown. Starts him with a strike right down the middle. Jared Liebenau is the third base coach for the Winnacunnet Warriors, head coach in his 5th season. Swing and a miss on a high fastball, 0-2. This is a big batter right here in the first inning, John.
This sure is. Good to see him ahead with 2 strikes. It's a big out.
Want to keep the ball in the infield at least. And there's a high fly ball. Jewell comes all the way into the edge of the infield grass to make the catch. Infield was playing double play depth, and Jewell showing good range there for the big second out of the inning.
Came a long way. Like to see the outfield do that. Call off the infield. He played that real well.
With 2 outs, Jordan Keene comes up to bat. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Big situation for Keene. State's trying to wiggle out of this one. Starts Keene off with a strike. Just misses.
That was a close one.
Probably be an inning or 2 for the teams to fill out the strike zone.
High fly ball.
Pop up to the infield. Credo calls off Gagne, makes the catch. So States, after loading the bases with 1 out, gets a couple of pop-ups to end the inning. After half an inning of play, Winnacunnet nothing. Spaulding coming up to bat. Moving to the bottom of the first inning, Spaulding Red Raiders coming up for the first time tonight. They will be leading off with Ricky Credo, the shortstop, followed by Justin Jewell and Anthony DiPrizio, top of the order for the Red Raiders.
Boy, as mentioned earlier, Kevin, this team, our Red Raiders team, is surely capable of putting up a number of runs. Their offensive attacks have been very aggressive when they're on. It's either hot or cold.
As we said, Spaulding has had some big run production games. In their last 3 games, they have scored 12, 17, and 10 runs, beating Memorial 10-zip, beating Nashua North 17-zip, and then beating Pinkerton 12-2. So they've been doing it on both sides of the diamond, pitching, defense, and offensively. Ricky Credo will lead things off. The shortstop, speedy leadoff batter from the Red Raiders, and he can thank his mother for that, John.
There is no question about that. 39 runs versus 2 the last 3 games. That's darn impressive. That's a hot streak. Let's hope they keep it running.
And Coach George would say they want to be peaking at around this time as they gear up for the playoffs. 9-5 Red Raiders. Ricky Credo takes strike 1, 1-1 on Credo. Spaulding sits tied for 4th with Bedford and Alvern. They've split with both of those teams. Still a few games left for each team. Credo takes ball 2 on a breaking ball outside. Alvern and Bedford will be playing at the end of the season. If those teams remain tied, would have to go down to some tiebreakers. But Spaulding sitting in a decent spot right now, tied for 4th. Ground ball to short. Across the diamond, Credo gets thrown out by about a half a step. Play was made at short by Jordan Keene. Credo can put pressure on the defense with those ground balls to the left side. He is retired 6-3, and that'll bring up the center fielder, Justin Jewell.
Justin's one of many seniors, as you know, on the squad. Smart senior as well. Had a 2200 SAT score, and he's going to URI next year. And he says his future goal is to get a biomed engineering degree.
Fouls this one off to the left.
Going to play baseball there as well.
Quite a few players on the Spaulding team going to continue to play baseball.
Yeah, it's a great sign.
Andrew Barnes headed to Franklin Pierce. DiPrizio going to St. Joe's in Maine.
Yeah, even Josh. Josh is going down to Nyack and
In New York.
New York, and
Chris States.
Chris State's going up to New England College. It's great. It's all great. Future business leaders of America, Kevin.
FBLA, right? Just what you like to hear.
Yes, no question.
I'll be working for you in the future. Ball down low to Jewell. 3-1 the count on Justin Jewell. Jewell, one of the fast guys at the top of the order. Spaulding has some speed, especially near the top of the order with Credo, Jewell, and DiPrizio.
Justin is quick, no question.
Ball 4, Jewell draws a 1-out walk. And that'll bring up Anthony DiPrizio, the catcher. Coach George at third base, calling the signals for the Spaulding Red Raiders. Gary Bryant coaching first base. They like to run, especially with the top of the order guys. Ball 1 to DiPrizio.
Anthony, another one of those seniors that is going to continue under the college ranks when playing baseball at St. Joe's. Told me his goal is to become a physician's assistant. Physician's assistant.
Ground ball to short. Keene up with it. Bobbles. Throw to second. Not in time. And there's the speed at the top of the order we talked about. Keene with a little bobble and couldn't get it over to Nastasia in time. Jewell hustling down, beats it out. DiPrizio reaches on an error. Jewell moves up to second base. Runners at first and second for Drew Healy.
Well, here's a guy that is definitely hot. There is no question about that.
Drew can always put his barrel on the bat. He's done it since the first time he picked up a baseball bat.
Yeah, it is true. And this year, right now, he's on a hot streak. He's seeing the ball well, and he's hitting in a spot I don't think he's seen frequently in the past, and cleanup spot, but he's doing a great job with it.
Drew likes the gaps. He'll go left center, right center. And as we said, likes to put his barrel on the ball. Takes a strike on the outside corner. 1-1 to Healy.
We've seen Coach George move the order around a bit. I think early in the season, you saw Justin in the 3 spot. Now he's down in the 2. We saw Drew in the 2 spot. Now he's in the 4. Things have moved around a bit.
Well, I'd say the last 3 games they paid dividends. Inside to Healy. Aaron Garreau down 2-1 to Healy. Runners at first and second with 1 out. There's a fly ball in the left field. Left fielder gets twisted around over his head. Jewell is going to score. DiPrizio coming into third base. George will hold him up there. It's a double for Healy. RBI double for Drew Healy, and as we talked about, the kid's just been hitting.
He's on fire. There is no question about that. If you folks at home hear the music in the background, it's because they have their walk-up songs here, of course, and each one of them is different.
Healy with the RBI double. Runners at second and third. Winnacunnet bringing the infield in as Josh Gagne comes up to the plate. Keene coming all the way into the grass in the first inning. Winnacunnet's given up 1 run. They don't want to give up any more in the first inning. 1 out, runners at second and third. Gagne, the third baseman, batting in the 5th hole.
Well, you don't see that much. We've seen him in the 3 and 4 spot for a number of years, and it is what it is. It's working.
Ground ball to short, and Liebenau plays it perfectly, bringing his infield in as Jordan Keene fields it, holds DiPrizio at third base, and retires Josh Gagne on the 6-3 put out. That'll allow the infield to back up. Keene right now is staying in it short, but I think he'll realize there's 2 outs in a minute, and they can back him back up.
You were right.
Kyle Kerrigan is the batter. Kerrigan playing right field. He was a steady bat all last year for him as well, John.
Sure was.
Done a nice job this year.
And he had a great season in hockey. You mentioned a lot of the seniors and how great a whole year we've had with all the different sports, basketball and hockey and girls softball. Of course, hopefully we'll continue here with baseball, and it's been a great year for the seniors.
Swing and a miss by Kerrigan. 1-2 the count. Each pitcher facing a first inning jam. Spaulding has pushed 1 run across. They lead 1-0. Kerrigan trying to add to that lead. Ground ball left side. Keene has it go through his legs. 1 run will score. Healy will score right behind. And the Red Raiders take a 3-0 lead. Nice job by Kyle Kerrigan putting the ball in play with 2 strikes.
Putting the bat on the ball is the key. Shortstop made an error and scored 2. Good for Kyle.
DiPrizio and Healy score. And that'll bring up Cody Knapp, the first baseman. Cody Knapp, another one of those seniors. 7 seniors in the starting lineup for Spaulding tonight. Big cut by Knapp, fouled straight back.
Cody wants to go into the Army, he said. Study engineering, good for him. There's a number of the kids that want to go in the Army. Dakota Capoletti, of course, Cody Knapp. It's great to see the kids moving on and knowing what they want to do.
Knapp takes a ball outside.
Chris Parker as well. I think he mentioned he might be going into the Army.
Garreau has thrown a few pitches this inning. Hasn't been helped by his defense. A couple of errors already, so it's prolonged his inning. Spaulding up 3-0 here in the bottom of the first inning. I'm Kevin Conley along with John Credo. We're at Burt George Field for the Spaulding Red Raiders taking on the Winnacunnet Warriors. Nate Shaw is our cameraman. Pitch misses away. Knapp way up in the count.
Haven't seen many throws over to first. He's got a healthy lead.
Pitch misses away, ball 4. Knapp reaches on a 2-out walk. That moves Kerrigan to second base, and that'll bring up the pitcher, Chris States.
Some music's better than ever. This one's not too bad.
They do have their walk-up music. Dan Norcross playing the walk-up tunes for the Red Raiders. Swung on a miss by States. Isn't it usually senior night, John, where the seniors get to pick the walk-up music for the others? And
that's next Friday. We've got that game. That'll be our second in a 2-game series.
Ball is popped up to the infield. Winnacunnet third baseman TJ Welch makes the catch, finally ends the inning, but the Red Raiders push 3 across, and after 1, it's Spaulding 3, Winnacunnet nothing. We move to the top of the second inning. Winnacunnet coming up to bat. They will have John Ferrilli, Griffin O'Brien, and Matt Galati coming up. Bottom 3 in the order for the Winnacunnet Warriors. Chris States on the mound for Spaulding.
7, 8, 9 hitters. He got himself out of a jam that last inning with the 2 pop-ups.
First pitch swinging, fouled back. States gets ahead. We've talked about the starting lineup for Spaulding. On the bench, Christian Dow, a junior. He'll do some catching. He's done some DHing as well this year. Big bat. Ben Gravel, an outfielder, also a junior. Dakota Capoletti, a senior. He's done some pitching, played some infield, third base for the Red Raiders. And Andrew Barnes, one of the better pitchers. He's had a nice season for Spaulding. He is a senior as well. Tomahawked, popped up to short. Ricky Credo makes the play for out number 1. Ferrilli is retired. States has retired the first 2 batters in each inning, the leadoff batter, I should say, in each inning. 1 out, Griffin O'Brien comes up to bat. They do have some depth, Spaulding, John, as we've seen. Gravel's been in the lineup starting. He's had some big games for them.
They really do. When you say the 4 subs, you know, each of those, Christian Dow's had an incredibly good bat this season. He has been at the DH role for a number of the games and had some real good hits. He's been a very good hitter this season. You've got Ben Gravel, who's played a lot of left, or he's also good at third and also has a good bat. Dakota has had a very good season at third base, in my opinion. A very good senior season at third, and Andrew is doing a great job. I mean, you commented earlier about him going to Franklin Pierce, another smart student of ours who's going to play baseball after high school, so that's great.
States gets up 0-2, misses on the 0-2 pitch, and comes back with a breaking ball in the dirt. Gets away from DiPrizio, and O'Brien will reach on the strikeout.
That was a tough drop and block. That ball was the breaker, and a little extra work for Anthony to get in front of that one.
He got in front of it. The spin made it bounce away towards the third base dugout, allowed O'Brien to reach easily on the strikeout. So with 1 out, O'Brien at first base, and that brings up Galati. Galati playing left field. Up and in. 2-0 to Galati. Galati batting in the 9th spot. He'll be followed by the leadoff batter, Anastasia. Winnacunnet making some noise in their dugout now. Called strike. States battles back, evens the count at 2-2. And there's a check at first base. O'Brien back safely. Always love it at the high school level when everybody in the dugout yells back. Like to see all the players
In tandem.
in tandem, all in the game. Pitch is fouled off the left side. Gagne gives chase. Chris State's a member of the basketball team. As you talked about, the hockey team had great success. Basketball team, both teams made it deep into the playoffs. Basketball team lost in the semis. Hockey team lost a difficult one in the championship as States battles back and strikes out Galati. Back-to-back strikeouts. 2 outs in the inning, and that'll bring up the leadoff batter, Anastasia.
Yeah, there's no question, as mentioned. It's been an incredibly great year, as we talked about earlier. It's just in every sport. It's been so memorable for these seniors.
Runner bluffs. DiPrizio down to first base. Knapp a little late with the tag. O'Brien looked like he wanted to take off and changed his mind. I'm not sure he got the best jump. And as you said, DiPrizio's done a nice job throwing out runners this year.
He's done an incredible job. I don't think that we've seen many real stolen bases on Anthony's arm. He's done a great job for the Red Raiders.
Pitch is fisted foul to the right. Breaking ball lined into left center field. Parker trying to cut it off. He won't get to it. Ball will roll to the fence. Relay throw coming into Credo. O'Brien will come around to score the first run of the game for the Winnacunnet Warriors. A 2-out RBI double by Anastasia, and it's 3-1.
Well, that was a solid hit by Mike. There's no question that was not going to be fielded. Too bad that run scored as a result of a dropped third strike. But maybe Christopher can get this 2-hitter here.
O'Brien reached on the swinging third strike on a breaking ball in the dirt. He comes around to score Winnacunnet's first run of the game. And now States will face his counterpart, the pitcher Garreau. Nastasia did a nice job staying back on that curveball, John.
He sure as heck did. He sure
breaking
as heck
ball.
did. He's one of the old Seacoast players, Kevin. We remember that from years ago.
They had quite a talented team back then. We were talking briefly, quite a few good players who did not end up going to Winnacunnet. They've lost quite a few to the prep school ranks.
Yeah, they sure have. They had a squad 4 or 5 years ago at the youth level that was a tough squad to beat. Chris working ahead.
2 strikes on Garreau. Fastball, nice play by DiPrizio, jumping up to keep that ball from going to the fence. Winnacunnet has a runner at second base. That's the leadoff batter, Nastasia. Garreau at the plate with 2 outs. States works up on the batter again, fouled back by Garreau. Two and 2 on Garreau. Up and in. Garreau bends away.
Had to work a little to get out of the way of that one.
Count goes full, 3 and 2. First base is open. That's lined in the left field. Parker makes a nice catch.
Nice catches.
He
right.
stayed with a sinking liner, and Parker makes a catch to end the inning. Winnacunnet does pick up 1 run, and after an inning and a half here at Burt George Field, it's Spaulding 3, Winnacunnet 1. Spaulding Red Raiders coming up in the bottom of the second inning. Leading off here in the bottom of the second will be the number 9 batter, Chris Parker, who just made a nice play in left field to thwart a threat by the Winnacunnet Warriors. He'll be followed by the top of the order with Credo and Jewell.
We talked about the wind, Kevin. I think the wind was a big factor in making that play, and he did a heck of a job making that catch. Those
Parker
low line
straight ball.
drives are difficult to catch.
Yeah, the ball was hooked, sort of like your drives on the golf course, huh? A little duck hook. Swing and a miss. Parker in a hole, 0-2. The flag out in right center, all twisted around the pole now. Wind will be a factor all night long. 0-2 pitch misses away. John, while we have a second, the Spaulding Red Raider coaching staff, Coach George, not only does a great job acquiring talent and coaching the players, but he's assembled a pretty good staff as well.
Boy, oh boy, has he ever. It's an impressive feat when you look at not only the number of coaches, but also how many of them have actually graduated Spaulding and stayed here to continue to coach. When you look at Paul, he's got, of course, Gary Bryant, who does his first base coach, and Kyle Douglas is his varsity pitching coach, and of course Mr. Wiz is and always has been the statistician, but he's also got Jamie Ferrillo and Jerry LaChance helping him out at the varsity level. And as you know, Bob G has been 13 years as head JV manager, and he's got Chris Tebow as his assistant at JV, and then it doesn't stop there. You got Rock Rullo at the freshman level with Josh Nesbitt. It's a good staff.
Parker fouls off the 2-strike pitch. He's done a nice job falling down 0-2, and he's battled back now. Chris Parker leading off the bottom of the second inning for Spaulding. Red Raiders up 3-1 over Winnacunnet. And Parker works a walk after falling down 0-2, so the Spaulding Red Raiders have their leadoff batter on in the second.
That was a good walk with the 2-strike start. That was a good job by Mr. Parker.
That brings up Rick Credo, who grounded to short in his first at bat. Coach George has some options now. Number 9 batter on. Ricky Credo lays down a bunt. Rolls foul. Not sure if Ricky did that on his own, but he was certainly bunting for a base hit.
I think he did do it on his own. I didn't see much in the way of signs by Coach George. Third baseman's come up a little now.
He snuck in the third baseman.
Hit him.
And Rick Credo gets hit by the pitch, dead ball. He squared the bunt, pulled back. Took the pitch. Might have been off the leg or the ribs. Not sure where it got him.
Maybe his mother Judy will have to check on him. I'm sure he'll be all right.
You just tell him to rub some dirt on it, right?
That's what we'll do. Well, the first 2 runners on, Kevin. This should be an interesting bottom of the second.
Now Nastasia, the second baseman, is asking for some help from Gary Noyes, the field umpire, and the umpires are going to discuss this if Credo, who squared around the bunt, pulled it back in time, and they're going to call it a strike. Coach George is going to want to ask Noyes what he saw now. Ricky definitely squared around the bunt. Looked like he pulled it back and then took the ball that was running inside on him off either what I thought was the ribs.
Yeah, I couldn't tell if it was his forearm or his ribs, but he head squared, tried to pull it back, and the ball was so inside, I don't believe it. It went off the bat, of course. I think they're saying he offered at it.
Unless they're saying it hit the bat, but they're going to call it a strike, so Rick Credo down 0-2 now. Third baseman can back up with 2 strikes on Credo. And he lines a ground ball up the middle. Parker round second. He's going to come to third. Throw from the center fielder is offline. And Credo heads up, moves into second base. So the Red Raiders make out better in that situation.
Boy, they sure did. No question about it. They would have had first and second with no outs. And now they've got second and third. So that worked out in our favor. Thank you, Matt and Anastasia.
That'll bring the Winnacunnet infield in once again. Liebenau wants to try to cut down any runs he can. And Justin Jewell, who walked his first time, comes up to the plate. Jewell wants to try to get a ball to the outfield here with the infield in. He's got a runner at third. Good speed on the bases. Runners at second and third. Jewell lines one into right field. Caught by the right fielder, and Chris Parker not back in time to tag up.
That was a frozen rope. That is a tough ball to run on. That couldn't have been more at that right fielder. That was a good piece.
First out of the inning. That'll bring up DiPrizio. Ball was lined to right field. Parker did not get back in time to tag up and score. The instincts immediately at third base are to move. Ground ball to third, contact play on. They come home, and they just get Parker at home plate. Spaulding going with the contact play with runners at second and third. DiPrizio reaches on the fielder's choice. Parker cut down 5-2 for the second out. Credo moves to third on the play. Healy at the plate, runners at the corners, and we'll see with good speed if Spaulding quickly puts DiPrizio in motion. DiPrizio takes off for second. Healy swinging on the pitch. Fouls it away. DiPrizio will head back.
Drew had a double in his first at bat, as you mentioned, and he's hot as ever.
Doubled home the first run of the game for the Red Raiders. DiPrizio off again, pitches high, throw, goes down, cut off by Nastasia. DiPrizio picks up a stolen base, runners at second and third. And that's one of the reasons with second and third they had the contact play on. Make the infield make a tougher play at the plate. Steal second base and you're at the same situation you were before. So Spaulding with runners at second and third, 2 outs. Healy the batter. In the dirt. Nice block by Derek Clough. Fly ball into right field. Catch is made there by Bobby Brown, who was shading the line. Red Raiders will leave 2 in scoring position, and after 2 complete at Burt George Field, it's Spaulding 3, Winnacunnet 1. We move to the top of the 3rd inning for the Winnacunnet Warriors. They have TJ Welch leading it off against Chris States. Fly ball into left field. Ball is going to carry. Hooking foul, and it's over the head of Parker. It will stay fair.
That was a long ball. Long ball. That went all the way to the fence.
The way the wind's blowing, too, that's danger area when it's hooked into left field. The wind sort of died down there and didn't blow it foul. Parker tracked it down, but that's a leadoff double for TJ Welch. First time tonight the Winnacunnet Warriors have had the leadoff batter on. And that'll bring up the cleanup batter, the catcher, Derek Clough. States has had runners on in every inning. He's given up just the 1 run through 2. And there's a base hit into left field. Parker can't cut it off. It'll get all the way to the fence. That will allow Welch to score. And Clough changes spots with Welch. He's standing at second base with an RBI double.
Chris Parker's been a busy guy over there in left field so far in this game.
Back-to-back doubles by Winnacunnet. A lot of balls going into left field for the Warriors. And that'll bring up the designated hitter, Danny Fields. Nobody out. Runner at second base.
See some action in the bullpen, Kevin. It looks like our pitching coach, Carl Douglas, is taking down somebody. Can't tell who it is, but there is some action in the right field corner.
Pitch misses up and in. 1-1 to Fields. And there's another ball hit into left field. Parker plays it on a hop. Throw goes into third base. And Coach George will have a visit to the mound to talk to Chris States. 3 consecutive hits, all going to left field. Runners at first and third with nobody out. Coach George will talk with his senior pitcher.
They're pounding left field tonight. Chris Parker, I should say, has been on his horse more than once. They're doing a great job of pulling those strikes to the left field side.
Second time through the order for Winnacunnet, and Chris has done a nice job, Chris States that is, pounding the strike zone, but these last 3 hitters have really jumped on the fastballs.
Yeah, they sure have. They've started right off that 3, 4, 5, and 6 this inning. All those hitters not wasting any time either. Most of them hitting the first pitch.
That'll bring up Jordan Keene. Runners at first and third, nobody out. We'll see how Spaulding plays it in the infield. Right now, middle is at double play depth. DePrizio, the catcher, gives the infield signals.
I would assume with first and third here, they won't throw down.
Runner holds at first. Jordan Keene popped up to short to end the first inning. The Warriors had the bases loaded. That was a big out by States. Ball misses inside 2-0. Jared Liebenow, the Winnacunnet coach, coaching third base. Danny Fields at first. He bluffed to second that time. States misses. It's 3-0.
This is Jordan Keene. Yep.
Jordan Keene up 3-0, and States pounds the strike zone there.
Like to see Chris come back here and get this 6-hitter out.
Runner takes off. States winds up. Ground ball to third. Gagne tries to let it go, and it hits the bag. Hit the runner, actually. They're saying it hit the runner.
Now there's something you don't see frequently.
Hit the runner in fair territory. So there's a big break by the Spaulding Red Raiders. Josh Gagne came in to field it, John. He let it go, hoping it would go foul, and even better than that, it hit the runner in fair territory when he was not on the base.
The chance of that play happening as it did is pretty amazing. It hit the base, it was fair, and the runner in fair territory.
Ground ball to third. Gagne fields it. The runner at second base never broke for third. He records the out on a fielder's choice. So Danny Fields on the ground ball, unaware that the runner was occupying first base behind him, never broke. Probably would have had him anyways, but it would have been much closer on the bobble. State's trying to work out of this and immediately gets a pop up to first. Cody Knapp under it. Healy calls him off, and Healy makes the play. So very quickly, the Spaulding Red Raiders, after giving up 3 straight hits in a run, States wiggles out of it with a little bit of a break, a nice play at third base by Gagne, and then a quick pop up. Moving to the bottom of the third inning, it's 3-2, Spaulding on top. And we're back here at Spaulding. As we were talking about, that was a quick end to that inning, John, and as we were discussing between the innings, that play at third base, Josh Gagne had a chance to field it, came up, let it go, and I believe the runner in that situation would be safe. Once a fielder has a chance to field the ball and it goes past him and you get hit by the ball, I don't believe it's still an out, but...
You and I are in agreements there. I don't know why they didn't appeal it, but we're a fortunate crew here at Burt George Field.
The Red Raiders come up to bat in the bottom of the third inning. They'll have Josh Gagne followed by Kerrigan and Cody Knapp.
We mentioned Josh is going to Nyack in New York. He's going to continue to play baseball. Good for him. He's going to go there for a business administration degree, and I know his parents, Brian and Jen, are very proud of him.
Josh has had a standout career here at Spaulding. He's really been a phenom since his 10-year-old year at the lower levels. He's been a major factor for the Red Raiders and for his youth teams. And Gagne grounds one to third base. Handled over there by TJ Welch across the diamond, and Gagne's retired 5-3. That'll bring up Kyle Kerrigan. Kerrigan reached on an error in the first inning. Allowed the Red Raiders to score 2 runs on that error.
Yeah, to the shortstop. That was a big error. One we needed with a 3-2 game. Kyle's going to continue to play hockey, Kevin. He's going to be playing for the junior hockey team, and he's going to go to Lakes Region Community College, so good for him. One of the captains. We got 2 captains on the baseball team from the hockey team.
Ground ball to the right side. First baseman ranges over. He'll flip to the pitcher Garreau for the out. Kerrigan retired 3-1 on the put out. 2 quick outs by the Winnacunnet pitcher Aaron Garreau. That'll bring up Cody Knapp. Knapp walked in the first inning. All kinds of visitors up here. We had Mike Kerrigan earlier. Now we have Bob States coming up to visit.
Old-time friend Bob States wants to make sure he makes his presence here on camera. Want to make sure Nate doesn't get a visual of him, though.
Fisted to third. Fielded there by Welch, but ball rolled foul.
Another close one down that third line. We've seen some wild plays here in this game, and it's only the third inning. Third basemen have been busy as well. Left and third.
Yeah, left side of the diamond getting a lot of action tonight. Knapp takes the pitch away.
Knapp told me earlier his favorite food is a steak bomb with extra cheese, Kevin.
Oh, that's right up my alley, John.
Sounds good.
We could put a show on together about the 5 best steak and cheese joints in town.
Don't forget about the hot butter.
Map at the plate, nobody on, 2 outs. Grounded up the middle. Nastasia ranges, off balance throw to first, and a nice pick over there at first base by the Winnacunnet Warriors first baseman Griffin O'Brien, and it's a 1-2-3 inning for Winnacunnet. We have a ball game here. We'll move to the 4th inning. It's Spaulding 3, Winnacunnet 2. We move to the 4th inning. Winnacunnet coming up to bat, and for the Winnacunnet Warriors, they will have the number 9 hitter, the left fielder, Matt Galati, leading off, and then the top of the order with Nastasia and Garreau. Spaulding Red Raiders lead 3-2 in the first pitch. Lifted into center field for a base hit.
It's kind of strange, isn't it, Kevin? It's somewhat lopsided when it comes to the score and the hits from each team. It's not what you would expect.
Spaulding has 3 runs on 2 hits. They do have the benefit of a couple of errors. And the Winnacunnet Warriors have 2 runs now on their 7th hit in the game. They've been putting the ball in play against States. And they have the leadoff batter, Nastasia, coming up. Galati with the single. He's at first base, nobody out. And a hit batsman as Nastasia gets hit by the States fastball. Runners move to first and second, and Carl Douglas will head back down to the bullpen.
He's doing more than a jog, so that tells you something. With 2 runners on here in a 3-2 game in the 4th inning, we've got to have a short leash, wouldn't you say, Kevin?
Yeah, and as we noted the second time through, Winnacunnet's put the bat on the ball a little bit more against Chris. They found some holes. Nobody out, runners at first and second, and Aaron Garreau comes up to bat. He takes ball 1.
I know Chris didn't want to hit by pitch on that, but that may come back to haunt us.
Cody Knapp looking for a bunt at first base. He's in close. 1-run game. DiPrizio down to second base. Healy applies the tag. And the Red Raiders, behind Anthony DiPrizio's arm, get a big out, first out of the inning. They throw behind the runner at second base, and Galati is caught with too much of a secondary lead, and a nice tag and play by DiPrizio and Healy.
What a great throw out. And good timing as well. With no outs in first and second, they do a 2-4 out at second. That was a good throw.
There's the defense helping out the pitching staff of the Red Raiders. And we have a 3-0 count on the batter now. And that is a big out. Could be even bigger after that pitch there, as it's ball 4. They would have the bases loaded, nobody out. Instead, it's first and second as Garreau draws the walk. That pushes Nastasia down to second base. That'll bring up the number 3 batter, TJ Welch.
We commented on Anthony's throwing arm earlier, and it just goes to show you why the runners aren't running on him. He just backpicked him at second with no problem.
States leads off, Welch with a strike. Anthony must have said, well, if you're not going to run on me, I'm going to throw anyways. And that is a huge play at this moment in the game. Picking the runner off second base. 0-2, States finding the zone now, quickly ahead, 0-2.
The comeback kid, every time he gets in trouble in the innings somehow.
Welch is 2 for 2, has a single and a double, and the breaking ball, good 0-2 pitch, nice block by DiPrizio. Welch singled in the first, doubled and scored in the 3rd inning. He's 2 for 2, so he's a dangerous bat, hitting in the 3-hole. States working carefully. Another breaking ball.
He's the one that hit the long ball to left in his second at bat, Kevin. He's had 2 to left in this game. He is a dangerous hitter.
2-2 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed in a big strikeout by Chris States. As we said, Welch is a tough out, and States gets the second out of the inning with a swinging strikeout.
Big strikeout. Good for him.
That'll bring up the cleanup batter, Derek Clough. Clough has reached base twice. He doubled in the first run of the game, or make it the second run of the game for the Winnacunnet Warriors back in the third inning, and he walked in the first. Boy, he looks like a different pitcher right now, States. He's pounding the outside corner, getting ahead. He found it just in time, and you got to credit DiPrizio helping him out there. I'm sure that shifted momentum, gave States some confidence, and a swing and a miss by Derek Clough.
Yeah, if you look at the first few innings here, Chris has been in a situation in each of these innings, but for some reason he gets better as more runners get on.
Grounded to third base. Gagne up with it across the diamond, and the Red Raiders avert what could have been a big inning for Winnacunnet. Some good defense, and then Chris States really settled down, gets a strikeout and a ground out, and the Red Raiders escape the fourth. No runs, even though Winnacunnet had a couple of players left on base. As we move to the bottom of the fourth inning, Spaulding clinging to a 3-2 lead. We move to the bottom of the fourth inning. Spaulding leading 3-2 here at Bert George Field, playing a home game at Spaulding High School. I'm expecting the lights to come on at some point, but right now we have some late shadows coming across the deep part of the infield. I'm Kevin Connolly along with John Credo, bringing you Spaulding High Division I baseball action, and the pitcher Chris States will lead off the fourth inning.
Not a bad night on a Wednesday night, May 20th, 2015, but very windy.
And the wind has died down a little bit, John, since the first inning. Flag not moving quite as much. Chris States takes a strike, 1-1 on States. He's the pitcher batting eighth. He'll be followed by Chris Parker, and then the top of the order with Ricky Credo.
8-9-1.
Garreau hits the outside corner. States down 1-2.
I see they've got more bullpen action going, Kevin. They've got Coach Douglas out there with, looks like Josh Gagne.
Lined into right field. That ball will drop for a base hit. Chris States leads off the fourth inning with a single. The Red Raiders have a leadoff batter on.
Way to help your own cause. Nice hit to right for Chris.
That breaks up 4 straight batters retired in a row. Make it 4 in a row by Garreau. States reaches. He will grab a sweatshirt, keep that arm warm. And that brings up Chris Parker, the number 9 batter, and we'll see if Coach George tries to advance States. States with good speed at first base, always been a really good base runner. Parker at the plate. Spaulding up 3-2 in the fourth inning. They may want to try to get States into scoring position. He has a hefty lead over there at first base, and Garreau will check him. States dives back safe.
He sure did have a hefty lead. That's more than one runner we've seen with that large lead over there.
Chris Parker trying to bunt and move States along. That ball rolls foul down the first baseline.
Not a bad idea.
See if Coach George puts the bunt play back on. Parker trying to place it down the first baseline. O'Brien at first holding States on. Third baseman in a little bit, so Parker squares. He'll bunt down the first baseline. Beautiful bunt by Chris Parker. Pitcher fields it, throws to Nastasia. Chris States stumbles going around second base, and he will be thrown out. States made the turn at second and lost his footing, and Nastasia saw that, through to second base, and Welch applied the tag. So it ends up being a double play. 1-4-6 on the double play. States and Parker both erased, and now Credo comes up with no one on.
That was unfortunate, Kevin. I tell you, they got him over to second with a beautiful bunt by Parker. It's just too bad he stumbled. Stumbled, and Nastasia made a good play at second. It was a good throw.
So Parker has the sacrifice bunt, retired 1-4. States gets doubled up on the back end, and now Credo lines one off the glove of Garreau. Nastasia fields it, throws to first base, and we saw some breaks from Spaulding in a couple innings earlier, and now Winnacunnet helps themselves. That'll go as a 1-4-3 put out, and the Spaulding Red Raiders go down quickly after they had a mini threat. We will move to the 5th inning at Spaulding 3, Winnacunnet 2. We move to the top of the 5th inning, 3-2. Spaulding clinging to a 1-run lead. Chris States will come back to the mound, pitching into his 5th inning of work.
I haven't been doing a pitch count, Kevin, but I think it's starting to get up there for the 5th inning on Chris.
I think it is. He'll be facing the middle part of the order, Danny Fields, followed by Jordan Keene and John Ferrilli. Fields is the DH batting for the right fielder, Bobby Brown. Fields is 1 for 2. Flew out to center field and reached on a single. States did a nice job battling out of the last inning. Comes up here in the 5th inning and quickly gets ahead 1-2 on Fields.
5, 6, 7 batters.
Curveball lined into left field. That'll be a base hit. Parker cuts it off, but Fields will head into second base with a stand-up double. That is the 3rd straight inning Winnacunnet's put the leadoff batter on. Leadoff double by Danny Fields, and that'll bring up the shortstop Jordan Keene. States starts off Keene with a strike. Nap in, suspecting a bunt.
Surely a bunt situation.
High fly ball into left field. Parker is under it. Runners tagging but won't be able to advance. Parker records the out. And as we said, a lot of action over there for Parker. That's the easiest play he's had. A fly out to left field for the first out, and that'll bring up John Ferrilli.
1/3 of the balls have gone to the left side, I'll bet. If not half.
1 out, runner at second base. Ferrilli is the batter. He pops this up. That ball will stay in play. DiPrizio, the catcher, ranges towards his dugout and makes the play for the 2nd out.
Big outs. These are big outs.
So after the leadoff double, 2 quick outs by Chris States, and that'll bring up Griffin O'Brien. O'Brien reached on a strikeout and ended up scoring the first run for Winnacunnet.
Yeah, he was the drop 3rd strike candidate.
States worked some inside. He fisted that one foul. This is a big inning if Chris can get through this. You'd like to see a starting pitcher. If he can get through 5 innings, giving up 2 runs and leaving with the lead. Spaulding's playing their first game of the week. It's a Wednesday. They do have a game tomorrow, but they have some pitching available, and there's one of the better breaking balls we've seen from States. Breaks over the inside corner, and it's quickly 0-2 on O'Brien. Fastball fouled straight back by O'Brien. Chris Parker playing O'Brien near the line. There's a big gap in left center. Jewell almost completely straight away in center field. So left center, there's a gap in. Ball in the dirt, fouled off. First hit in foul territory.
As you know, any NHIAA rules show that a pitcher who throws more than 5 innings in a day must have 3 full days rest before they pitch again. So this is 5th inning.
Fastball into center field. Jewell makes the running catch to retire the side. Big out there as Chris States works through 5 innings. He's given up 2 runs, left quite a few runners on base. And as we move to the bottom of the 5th inning, Spaulding's still up 3-2. We move to the bottom of the 5th inning. Spaulding leading Winnacunnet 3-2. And they will have the number 2 batter, Justin Jewell, the center fielder, who just made a fine running catch in center field to end a mini threat, leading off. He'll be followed by the catcher, Anthony DiPrizio, and then the cleanup batter, Drew Healy.
He stung his last pitch in his last at bat. Right fielder made a great catch, but that ball was a frozen rope.
Takes ball 1. And that last at bat, he did exactly what he wanted to do. He had second and third, no outs. He drove the ball to the outfield. Spaulding really had a chance to score a run there, and they were not able to tag up and score. Jewell with a big cut.
We were just commenting, Kevin, on the pitch count. We don't do a pitch count here at the booth, but we think both pitchers are getting up there.
Spaulding has 3 hits in the game. They scored 3 runs on 3 hits. They've left 4 runners on base. Winnacunnet, they have 8 hits in the game. They've scored 2 runs on 8 hits, and they've stranded 9 runners. So they've had quite a few base runners.
9 runners they've stranded. Seems like every inning Chris States pitches, there's runners on base.
Jewell works the count in his favor, 3-1. Wind blowing from right to left field. Jewell with a hard ground ball, foul down the first base line. He's always had one of the quickest bats.
Sure has, and he's got the quick feet to put it all together. He really is a good ball player.
He had a tremendous hockey season as well on the state finalist Spaulding Red Raider team. Quite a few hockey players on this team. Drew Healy, Kyle Kerrigan, Justin Jewell. D2 Player of the Year?
Yep, D2 Player of the Year, and he's
Justin.
going to a Division I baseball club down here at URI.
Lined off the third baseman's glove, Welch, and into left field. Nice piece of hitting there by Justin Jewell. Goes with the outside pitch, lines it into left field. The Red Raiders have the leadoff runner on in the first inning, and that'll bring up the catcher, Anthony DiPrizio. DiPrizio reached and scored on an error in the first inning. Reached on a fielder's choice in the second, stole second base, was stranded there. Jewell takes off for second base. DiPrizio will take the pitch, and Jewell, off a bobble by the catcher, steals second base easily. So Coach George wasting no time getting George into scoring position. Looked like Anthony obliged his teammate. He took that pitch the whole way to get him down there.
Didn't even fake bunt, just took it. Catcher bobbled it.
Breaking ball misses away.
I think we've got a hitter's count here for Anthony. 1-1, 2-0. Boy, steady breaking pitches from Perot.
2-1 the count to DiPrizio. There's a called strike on the outside corner. Justin Jewell at second base. DiPrizio trying to drive him in, give Spaulding a little bit of breathing room. Fly ball into right center field. That ball has a chance to get into the gap, and it will fall. Jewell, who was tagging at second, will come around and score easily, and DiPrizio with the RBI double puts the Red Raiders up 4-2.
Key hit for Anthony. We needed that run with a 1-run lead. Good for him. That double came at a great time.
Jewell at second base got a good read on it, went back to tag up because he would have been able to move to third if the play was made, and he was able to score even when the ball dropped in right center field. And that'll bring out Winnacunnet head coach Jared Liebenow to talk with his pitcher Aaron Garreau. And he might be buying a little bit of time. They have a pitcher just heading down to the bullpen now.
Kai Nichols going down to warm up, number 4.
Garreau hasn't had a ton of base runners. Winnacunnet has committed a couple of errors that have not helped. In the first inning, he gave up all 3 runs, and he went second, third, and fourth without giving up any runs, and now DiPrizio doubled home Justin Jewell to give Spaulding its 4th run. That'll bring up Drew Healy. Healy doubled home the first run of the game for the Red Raiders. Called strike, 1-1 the count to Drew Healy. Nobody out, DiPrizio at second base. Inning started with Jewell with a hard single off the third baseman's glove. He stole second base. DiPrizio doubled him home, and now the number 4 batter, Healy, up at the plate. He'll line one up the middle by the diving Nastasia. DiPrizio hits third. He's being waved home. Here comes the throw. Cut off, not in time, but Healy hustles into second base. The Red Raiders putting together a nice 5th inning here. DiPrizio scores on the RBI single by Healy, and a great read by Drew Healy as he barely beats the throw into second base.
Coach Bryant helped him out there, sent him. He was going to have a close play, but it looked like that infielder might have waited a little too long to make the throw to second. Good for Drew scoring that RBI and getting to second base for Josh.
2 ribbies in the game for Drew Healy. He moves up to second base. Still nobody out, and Josh Gagne is the batter. Gagne lines one into left field. That'll drop. Left fielder was playing deep, and that will score Healy. Gagne with the wide turn, but he retreats. So an RBI single, and that's 4 straight hits to start off the 5th inning rather, for the Spaulding Red Raiders. That plates 3 runs. And now they're going to have to quickly get the bullpen going.
I had a prediction this might be a good inning for the Raiders.
You did, John.
I really had a feeling about this 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up. They saw this pitcher a couple times. This is the 3rd time they saw Garreau, and I had a suspicion they'd get hot. It's good for them. Good for them.
You're completely missing.
Gagne at first. The batter is Kyle Kerrigan. A check by Garreau, and Gagne make it a pinch runner. We have a pinch runner over there for Gagne. The ball is popped up into shallow center field. Nice running catch by the center fielder, and heading back is the pitch runner. Number 1, we don't have a number 1 in the book, but is that Cormier?
I think it's Sean Cormier.
I
think you're right,
over
but
there pinch running.
I'm sorry to say I'm not sure because it wasn't given to us, but number 1 looks to be Sean Cormier, a JV player, and they've used him here as a pinch runner.
Logical choice.
Very
Cormier
fast.
with good speed. We're going to assume it's Sean Cormier at this point. Ground ball to third base by the diving third baseman, Cody Knapp, with the single. Runners at first and second, and that'll bring up the pitcher, Chris States. So a nice hard hit, ground ball base hit by Cody Knapp.
The bats are getting hot now.
Second time Knapp's been on base. He walked in the first. Moves the runner up to second base.
I'd say States' walk-up song is my favorite so far.
Chris States singled in his last at bat. He's 1 for 2 in the game. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Curveball, grounded to third, snag there. No tag, but the throw across the diamond is in time. That was a nice try over there at third base by TJ Welch. He tried to tag States. Once he went for the tag, no longer did they have a around the diamond double play attempt, so he goes across the diamond for the first out. Runners move up to second and third with 2 outs, and that'll bring up Chris Parker.
Good range on the third baseman. He came a long way to his left to grab that ball.
Parker grounds it to first. Tricky spin.
Knuckled.
That ball really did knuckle. But a nice play over there at first base by O'Brien. He makes the final out. The Red Raiders, though, pick up 3 runs, just as John Credo predicted. They put up a crooked number, and they move ahead of the Winnacunnet Warriors 6-2 after 5 innings. Chris States will come out for the 6th inning. He is the starter. He now has a 6-2 lead. The Red Raiders put up a 3-spot in the 1st inning, and they come back with a 3-spot in the 5th inning. Really came alive that inning, John.
5 hits, 3 runs. That was a nice inning for the Raiders. Impressed they've got States out here in the 6th inning. This is great. 9-1-2, and I've heard this college he's going to, New England College's pitching coaches here looking at him tonight, so lucky him.
Good for Chris. Matt Galati will lead it off in the top of the 6th inning for Winnacunnet. He'll be followed by the top of the order, Nastasia and Garreau. Swung on and missed. 1-2. States is ahead. Galati singled in his last at bat, struck out back in the 2nd inning. He's 1 for 2 in the game.
I bet Mr. Wiz would know the pitch count, Kevin. What would be your guess? He's probably got a pitch count for us.
Is my guess if he would have the pitch count or how many pitches Chris has thrown? Fouled away?
That if Mr. Wiz would have the pitch count.
I guarantee you he has the pitch count.
He's the statistician. Best in the business. As most of you viewers know, Mr. Wiz is James Francis Wizawati, longtime coach here at Spaulding High School.
Do you think most of the viewers knew that was his real name?
Probably not.
Everybody just knows him as Wiz. Number 9 batter, Galati, doing a nice job battling at the plate. 2-2 count. He's fouled off a couple of 2-strike pitches. I look at some of the Winnacunnet players chasing foul balls on the football field. And that ball just misses. The count was actually 3-2. Dangerously close on the inside corner, but Galati, a nice at-bat, draws a leadoff walk.
That pitch could have gone either way. It looked like it was on the corner.
That'll bring up the leadoff batter, Nastasia.
He's had a pretty good night.
He has. He's doubled, reached on a hit batsman. He has an RBI. States with a check on the runner.
Lights are on now, Kevin.
Sun has just about set. No sunlight on the field anymore. You can see it at the top of the steeple as a swing and a miss. The clock tower there at Spaulding High School, that's about the only thing with sunlight still hitting it. The lights on here at Spaulding. Wind picking up a little bit too, a little more movement from the flag. Nastasia takes a called strike, 0-2. Nastasia with the open stance, and States works him away, misses high and away. Popped up to first base. Cody Knapp has the easy play for out number 1. Nice job by States getting in on Nastasia, having him trying to fight off a high inside fastball. And there's 1 out. Galati at first base, and that'll bring up Aaron Garreau.
Pitcher trying to help his own cause. We'll see how he does here as the 2-hitter.
Garreau singled in the 1st inning, lined out to left field on a sinking liner. Nice play by Parker in the 2nd inning. He walked in the 4th. 1 for 2 in the game. States' velocity still is pretty good.
It really is for the pitch count he has and being in the 6th inning. Cool night. Good for him. Pitch count's high.
Swung on and missed. 1-2 on Garreau. States has left runners on in every inning. Winnacunnet has had base runners. Ball is flown out to right field. Kyle Kerrigan with the catch for the 2nd out. Quickly 2 away after the leadoff walk, and that'll bring up the number 3 batter, TJ Welch.
Had a couple real long hits his first 2 at-bats. Last time we got him with a strikeout. This is his 4th at-bat in the game. Singled
in the 1st inning. Doubled and scored in the 3rd. And there's a ground ball up the middle. Credo ranging, gloves it. He has to come across the diamond and not in time. Nice play by Ricky Credo, but Welch got down that line pretty quickly. Credo with the play on the second base side of the second base bag. Welch reaches on the infield single. Puts runners at first and second for the cleanup batter, Derek Clough. Spaulding leading 6-2. They opened up the game with a little bit more of a cushion in their last at bat. Helpful here now that you get a couple of runners on and the tying run is only on deck. They've been battling a one-run lead for a few innings, so States with a little bit of wiggle room here. Gets ahead of Clough 0-1.
Wow.
Hard ground ball foul.
Turned on that one.
States works ahead 0-2. Runners at first and second, but that's nothing new for Chris. He's had runners on all day, and he's found a way to keep it just to 2 runs for Winnacunnet so far through 5 2/3 innings.
Our heads have been shaking all night. There hasn't been one inning that Chris has not had runners on, and in almost every inning he's had to work awful hard to get out of a jam, and he's done it successfully.
Chris reached back a little bit more there, misses on a fastball away, and a high fastball. Misses. It's now 2-2 on Clough. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runners on here in the 6th inning. Curveball over for a called 3rd strike. States had been pounding fastballs at Clough, and he comes with the 2-2 curveball. And once again, Chris States works out of a jam. He will leave 2 runners on and will move to the bottom of the 6th inning with Spaulding leading 6-2. The Spaulding Red Raiders leading 6-2 in the bottom of the 6th inning. They'll come up to bat with their leadoff batter, Ricky Credo. They have the top of the order. He will be followed by Justin Jewell and Anthony DiPrizio, and they'll be facing a new pitcher now, John.
Yeah, they've got the T.J. Welch, who just made a swap. Our pitcher went to third, and our third baseman went to the mound, and we'll see how he does. I think we talked about pitch count being out. I got to think that our pitcher got up there high in the pitch count, and they needed to make a change for Aaron Garreau.
Garreau went 5 innings. He gave up 6 runs, not all earned, as they gave up a couple of unearned runs in the 1st inning. He gave up 8 hits, 5 of them coming in the 5th inning. So I think just getting through that 5th inning for Garreau, they were going to make the change. And now the Red Raiders will face a new pitcher in Welch. Rick Credo leading it off for the Red Raiders. Credo 1 for 3 in the game. Singled in the 2nd inning. Had a liner back up the middle his last at bat that glanced off the pitcher's glove over to second base. A bit of tough luck. He moves ahead in the count 2-0.
Hitter's count. We'll see if he can get a strike to drive.
Third baseman deep. The new third baseman, Garreau, deep at third. Ricky always a threat to bunt. He takes called strike 2-1. It's funny, for all the snow we had all winter, the first game of the season, Spaulding had a gorgeous night. Now we're a little later in the season, and it's a little bit cooler now, but their first few games were played under very warm conditions. That ball is popped up on the right side. Nastasia, the second baseman, will make the play for the first out.
Yeah, that first game, I believe it was back in April, was a beautiful day, and here we are a month later. And that's how the weather changes in New Hampshire.
That'll bring up Justin Jewell. Jewell has scored twice in the game. Walked and scored in the first, lined out to right field in the second, then he singled and scored last inning to start off a big 5th inning for the Red Raiders.
Starts him off with a curveball inside. He's had a couple good at-bats now. That line drive to right, second time up. That base hit to the left, the last time up.
Takes a fastball for a called strike, 1-1 on Jewell.
Justin's favorite food, Kevin, is venison.
Venison?
Yeah, and he told me he loves visiting Quebec City, so some of the answers I wouldn't have expected.
That's because his dad's a hunter, right?
I think
Gary
Gary
likes to
is.
hunt, and
Yeah,
he's
Gary
probably-
is. Yeah.
Fed venison to Justin when he was a young kid. It seemed to work. He's a tall, strapping lad, as they say. He's had an outstanding career at Spaulding in both hockey and baseball. Line shot into center field. That ball is going to get into the gap. Jewell with good speed will get to second easily. Makes the turn and will hold there. Justin Jewell having a day. Third time on base, second hit. A double for Jewell with one out, and that'll bring up Anthony DiPrizio.
Good hit for Justin. 2 for 3 with a walk. Good night for him.
DiPrizio's last at bat, he doubled home Justin Jewell. DiPrizio has scored twice, reached on an error in the first inning. Been on base 3 times, reached on a fielder's choice as well in the second inning.
Got a nice double the last at bat, right center.
DiPrizio ahead 2-0. Welch is a stocky right-hander. DiPrizio calls time to fix the cleats.
You always see a lot of DiPrizios at the game, whether it be Prisco or his grandmother, Phyllis, sometimes his sister's here, Marina, always his parents.
Jewell takes off at third base, picks a perfect pitch as it's in the dirt, and he walks into third base. Big stolen base with one out. DiPrizio now can try to score a run without the benefit of a hit. Second stolen base of the game for Jewell. Infield comes in for the Warriors with one out in the bottom of the 6th, and there's a fly ball into left field. Left fielder coming in, makes a catch on the run. Jewell will tag up, and with his speed, will score easily. So a big stolen base by Justin Jewell, and the Red Raiders manufacture a run. A sacrifice fly for DiPrizio, and the Red Raiders lead 7-2.
Good for Anthony for getting under that ball with a runner on third and one out. Good hitting sequence for DiPrizio. Here comes the hot Drew Healy, Kevin.
Well, you said coming into the game he was hot. He has doubled, he has singled. He flew out to right in between. He's knocked in a couple of runs. He scored twice, 2 for 3 in the game. And that's really not shocking if you've ever seen the kid play. He's hit at every level.
Yeah, he sure has. He's been a hitter for a long time, and I'm real happy for him in his junior year, aiding to the success of the squad. Not a bad golfer either.
Really?
Yeah, we had our golf tournament on Saturday for the Royal Lane baseball golf tournament, and he played with his father, and I think he played much better than his father, Howie.
I'll leave that one alone. I don't know if that's easy or difficult, but
Well, Howie's not as bad as one might think. Drew's a pretty good golfer. He's on the golf team at high school.
3-0 to Drew Healy. Takes a called strike.
Drew's got one sibling, his brother Derek, and I don't know what he's going to do after his senior year yet.
Still has some time. Ground ball right side, Anastasia will go over and make the play to retire the side. The Red Raiders pick up a run on a double by Jewell and a sacrifice fly by DiPrizio. And we will move to the 7th inning with the Spaulding Red Raiders leading the Winnacunnet Warriors 7-2. We move to the top of the 7th inning, the Red Raiders leading 7-2, and we will have a new pitcher on the mound. Josh Gagne comes in to try to finish this one off for the Red Raiders. Chris States works a very valuable 6 innings for the Red Raiders. Gives up 2 runs on 8 hits.
Looks like Dakota Capoletti has moved in the Chris State spot at third. He's going to play the defensive third base spot.
Leading off for Winnacunnet, they have the number 4 batter, Danny Fields. He'll be followed by Jordan Keene and John Farilli. They'll need to go deeper than that to keep this inning alive. Gagne, fastball, curveball pitcher, and as you said, Dakota Capoletti moves in for Chris Dates. He moves to third base, and Gagne on the mound. And first batter lines one into left field for a base hit. A leadoff single for the Winnacunnet Warriors in Danny Fields. That's his 3rd straight hit for Fields. Single, double, and now a single in his last 3 at-bats, and the Warriors have their leadoff batter on. That'll bring up Jordan Keene. Gagne now working from the stretch.
I think Dakota Capoletti has enjoyed having Coach Bryant as a coach. He was a successful third baseman. Dakota's had a good season at third this year for the Raiders.
Yeah, Gary Bryant was an outstanding third baseman. You talked about the coaching staff playing in graduating from Spaulding. They were pretty good baseball players in their own right. Gary Bryant, Paul George,
kidding.
Carl Douglas, Ferrulo.
A lot of good players. Gary played Division II for the University of New Haven. He actually played in a college World Series. Rock Rulo played at UNH. You've got Paul George at New England College, and it goes on and on. There's a number of great ball players that are helping out with the staff. It's nice to see that.
Gagne working a 2-2 count against Keene.
Let's not forget about Mr. Wiz. He was an electronics warfare officer.
Fouled back.
Have you heard of an EWO before, Kevin? Do you know what an EWO is?
I have, yes. And I've heard many stories from Coach Wiz. That's probably the best part of the long bus rides.
He's definitely a storyteller.
Another ball into left field. Chris Parker comes in a few steps for the out. It's been a busy left field for Chris Parker tonight.
Got the 7-hitter up. Number 3. Looks like the center fielder.
John Farilli, 1 out, 1 on. Trying to count out how many putouts Parker has.
A lot of 7s in the book, no question. I can see at least 4 here.
And he's chased a few balls as well. Farilli at the plate. He's 0 for 3, reached on a fielder's choice once. Red Raiders have played a fairly clean game, John.
Yeah, a lot of runners on, but they've made it happen.
Big breaking ball by Gagne. And really, you have to go back to the pickoff by Anthony DiPrizio that really squelched the momentum that Winnacunnet was starting to derive. They had runners on, 2 on, first and second with nobody out. Ball is fouled off. Good fastball by Gagne.
Yeah, when in the 4th inning that play was made from Anthony to Drew, that really took a lot of the pep out of that Winnacunnet team. That was a fortunate time to have got that out.
That was a 3-2 game. First and second, nobody out. States was behind the batter, and DiPrizio picks off the runner at second base. Totally changed the inning. Next batter immediately walked, and then States really found his groove again and worked his way out of it. Gagne going with some curveballs, misses there. Two-strike pitch. Little bleeder to second base. Healy over to second for 1. Credo on the relay, not in time. They get the lead runner.
That was a tough ball for Drew. That wasn't what I would call an easy ground ball. It was a tough one to either move in quick to get or wait on it.
Had the in-between hop, and he's trying to come in on it for the double play rather than sit back, and knocked it down. Had the easy force out at second. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Griffin O'Brien. They check. Gary Noyes, the base umpire, says no, he did not go. Check it first, and it gets by Knapp. The runner will move up to second base. Farilli moves into scoring position with 2 outs, but at this point, the Red Raiders will focus on the batter. They lead 7-2 with 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. Spaulding trying to win their 4th straight game.
Yeah, they beat Memorial on the 8th and Nashua North on the 11th. Pinkerton on the 15th. Here we are in their hopefully 4th in a row.
Gagne behind on the count. It's liking the curveball tonight. Goes back with the 2-0 breaking ball for a called strike.
That was a good-looking bender.
Makes that fastball look a little quicker, and it's now 2-2. Gagne trying to finish this one off for the Red Raiders. Chris States went 6 innings. He is the pitcher of record. Spaulding up 7-2, and the curveball. It has a big break, but it's not real late breaking, his curveball, John, but it is a big break, and he seems to like it right now. 3-2 the count on Griffin O'Brien. And there is the high fastball, swung on and missed. 4 strike 3, and that will end the game for the Red Raiders. Gagne comes in, gives up a single, and he ends up finishing this one off for the Red Raiders. Spaulding wins their 4th straight game, 7-2 over the Winnacunnet Warriors. Spaulding picks up its 10th win of the season, and they have started off with a 10-5 record, a few games left, John, but a good start, and they're really starting to peak right now.
You aren't kidding, and peaking at the right time it is. They've got Trinity tomorrow night home, and next Monday is Memorial Day. They got a 4 o'clock game at Bishop Girton, and then they end their season with us actually televising it again on next Friday, the 29th of May at Burt George Field again against Concord. So, boy, they're peaking at the right time. You're right, Kevin.
7-2 the final score. The Red Raiders win. And most of the damage done by the middle of the order for Spaulding. Justin Jewell has 3 runs scored. DiPrizio 2 runs scored. Healy 2 runs scored. They scored all 7 runs for the Red Raiders. They were at the top of the order for a reason, and they did the damage tonight.
You aren't kidding. You look at the last 4 games, when you include this one, it's been a 46-run-4. Boy, that's just a nice run for them over the last 4-game run. I'm happy for them.
Chris States picks up the win. He goes 6 innings, gives up 8 runs, make that 2 runs on 8 hits. He had a high wire act all night. He left quite a few runners on base, but when he had to get tough, he really got tough, John, and the defense helped him out quite a bit.
Sure did. Boy, with all those stranded runners, I think our coach from Winnacunnet over there is having an in-depth discussion with his players. That's one game that he will definitely try to learn from. There's a lot of runners left on base. Good job for Chris States getting himself out of it in all those innings.
Chris States left 11 runners on base. Winnacunnet had 12 stranded runners through 7 innings. So I'm sure Jared Liebenow, the coach of Winnacunnet, they came in at 0-15, slightly on demand. They are a little bit young. They are playing better now, but they definitely got the runners on base. But Chris States and the Spaulding Red Raiders made the plays, got the outs when they had to. They moved to 10-5 on the season. For the time being, they sit in 4th place. And as we look at the road ahead, John, and where they might finish, they're trying to obviously peak at the right time. Seeding is important. You would love to have some first-round games if possible. But really in baseball, it comes down to the matchup and how well you're playing when playoffs come around.
Boy, it is important to be hot at this time of the year. They've got Trinity tomorrow night. That's the 17th seed. But then they've got Bishop Girton on Monday, and Bishop Girton is in the middle of the pack at 11 seed. And then they finish it out next Friday against Concord, the 14th seed. But a great time to peak. And, you know, when you look at the spring tournament dates, the Thursday, the 4th of June is the first 4 o'clock game. Let's hope that they're in that playoff game and eventually get to Holman Stadium for the semis, and maybe even Northeast Delta Dental Stadium on Saturday, the 13th of June for a final. That would make my year.
That would be nice to see the Red Raiders finish this off with a championship. They are trying to make a run deep into the playoffs this year. They win this one tonight, 7-2 over the Winnacunnet Warriors. Winnacunnet drops to 0-16 on the season. Spaulding improves to 10-5 on the year. The damage done, Justin Jewell, Anthony DiPrizio, Drew Healy in a terrific defensive performance. Chris States picks up the win. Josh Gagne finishes it off for the Red Raiders as they move to 10-5 on the season. I want to thank our whole production tonight, Nate Shaw, our cameraman, John Credo, our color commentator, and I'm Kevin Conley saying so long from Burt George Field.